Hello, I'm Bea, and welcome to the Prison Void, where we talk about all things fantasy nonsense. And today's fantasy nonsense is all the books I read in 2021. My goal of the year was to read 60 books. I read 38, which is not the same number as 60. It is, in fact, less. I read over half, which I guess is good, but it wasn't my goal, so I am still disappointed in myself. I had a lot going on. So I thought it'd be a fun idea if I tried to remember from the cover alone what the book I read was about. So I went ahead and I pre-recorded what I thought each book was about, and if you don't mind me now, I'm going to stick on my headphones. So let's see how I did. Cutting to you, past B. Hi. I have my Surface down here. My Surface, it's a computer thing. If you didn't know, it's that right here. I'm not gonna wave it around because it changes the light though. Good light. I clearly need better lights. The first book I read last year was one of the Wandering Inn novels, and I plan on making a video about it at some point. I'm working on the script for the first volume right now, so I'm not say too much about it, but I do remember that it introduced the character Lincoln and Doreen, and I liked it. I love all the Wandering Inn novels. Pretty sure I got the Wandering Inn stuff correct. The second book I read was Frogcrisser, and for a while there I was really in a Garth Nix kick. I do not remember the main character's name, but I do remember she was the second-born princess of a kingdom, and she has not only a stepmother but a stepdad who's evil, who turned her older sister's boyfriend into a frog, so now she's got to go on a quest to cure him. Meanwhile, the older sister is dumb as shit for I don't know how else to phrase it. There's also lots of dogs in this story. I will rate it 5 out of 5 stars. Hester, I was pretty accurate with. Hester is about a step evil step person. If you like D&D and silly content within D&D, I recommend Frogcrisser, as long as you're aware that it is for children. It is for children, but it also make a pretty good mini arc, mini campaign, quest, sideline in a D&D game, which I guess I like. Gerald the Herald. Second one was Angel Mage. I remember there were angels and they were mages. So there's mages that could channel the power of angels, and it was dying out, and there's some sort of hootenanny, not a hootenanny, a MacGuffin lady. She did stuff. There was stuff that happened. I basically remembered nothing from Angel Mage. Yes, there's angels. Yes, there's mages. More than a century has passed, and still hath crept into the empty sarcophagus of Saint Marguerite, fleeing the fall of Yarstara. But she emerges from her deep magical sleep, still beautiful, still looking more than 19. Once again, renews her single-minded quest to be united with her lover, Paniel. The Angel of Yaristar. Now that I said that, some of it's coming back. Not all of it. It was an okay standalone novel. Next is A Dream So Dark, and I really like this novel. It is the second in a series that is a alternative telling of Alice in Wonderland, about a girl called Alice, short for Allison. Her family, really funny, gets involved in her otherworld shenanigans. It is at times a serious novel, but other times it is not. It reads like an anime. It does read like an anime. It's really enjoyable. It was fun. I love this series. I recommend other people read it. It is definitely worth a read if you're a fan of Alice in Wonderland and magical girls and people doing cool stuff. If you liked the Power Rangers as a child, you'll probably like this. Left-Handed Booksellers of London. This next book was the last in my Garth Nix kick So Love-Handed Sellers of London was not the last Garth Nix novel I read. I really like this book. I have a soft spot for, like, Hell Pendragon types, like, stupid, like, pointlessly flamboyant characters. Stupidly flamboyant characters who are both smart and utterly dumb, and it was really enjoyable. It did have one of those characters. Main character goes to London. She meets a dude. He's stupid, and she gets involved in this society where if you're right-handed, you have certain powers in this underground secret society, and if you're left-handed, you have other powers. That's the name Left-Handed Booksellers of London, and it was fun. And there was like the grandma. You go in, you talk to the grandmas. Oh god. If you haven't read it, read it. It's fun. It's fun. You like fun? You'll like this book. It was a really, really fun read, and if you want something fun, yes, read it. The Binding, which I think I physically own a copy of. I do own a physical copy of it. Did I read a physical copy? No, I listened to the audiobook because life is just like that. This one was about a kid who bound books, but books were like not fiction. They were just the lives of people of things they wanted to forget, or things that people read into. So this book is basically about a kid who feels his calling to become a binder, and it is not something people want to do as a living, but it is a calling that pulls you. So a binder in this universe is someone who physically rips memories out of a person's head and puts them in a book, binding them together. It is also something that rich people enjoy reading. They like to collect these painful, terrible memories that people just want to forget and read them for fun. In fact, some of them, this is rough. Some of them purposely cause hurtful memories for people just to have them bound up. The Princess Game, which was short. Like, very short and very stupid. Girls were dying. They were trying to figure out who the culprit is, so a detective went undercover, and it was dumb and short, and there was no satisfying ending. It was okay. Yes. The Silver Serpents. This is the second novel. I can't remember the first. It was something green. Emerald Wolves? Was it Wolves? I did like the first one. I do remember really liking the first one, but I came into the second one forgetting big plot details, and there was ice. That's what I remember for this one, like a whole ice castle, and things happened. It's the second in a series. I don't want to spoil too much, but I vaguely remember it. So as far as the Silver Serpents go, Severon and his team might have successfully thwarted the Fallen House, but victory came at a terrible cost that still haunts them all. It is a mixture of them going on adventure and coping from a loss. That's all I'll say because it is a second in the series and I do not want to spoil things. The terrible loss, they ran out of butter. That's why it's so sad. That's not a spoiler. It is very sad when you want butter for your toast, but you ran out. Rainbow Rowell's Carry On. I know a lot of people don't even like the second one. A lot of people who liked the first one. I think I actually did quite enjoy it. There was like bits that I was like, nyeh. Like when we're talking about feeding the vampire and what they fed, and I was like, I'm too squeamish for this. But my best friend is so angry about the end of this book, and I was like, I don't know, I kind of like it. So with Rainbow Rowell's Carry On, I completely mistook me reading the first one in the series for the second one. I was totally wrong. Same idea, wrong. Same series, wrong story. It is sort of a weird Harry Potter Twilight fanfiction-y thing all mixed up. And I know Rainbow Rowell wrote, I think, Fangirl, and the fangirl in the story was writing this story, which is a I don't know. Fan fiction, I think, allegedly of Supernatural. I don't know. Did Rainbow Rowell write Supernatural? Anyways, it's like a weird new take on Harry Potter. I mean, not exactly the same Harry Potter, but like you can clearly see the bones are there. Magic school has existed for a long time. J.K. Rowling did not invent it, but this was clearly based on Hogwarts. The Ember Queen, which is the third in the series, and every time I read every time I read a book in this series, I get so into it. And then I pause and think about it, and I was like, well, that was kind of dumb, wasn't it? But I think for enjoyment's sake, it was a good popcorn book. Ember Queen. I really don't want to go into detail, because if you're going to read it, read the other two. Some people really like it. I know Read with Cindy does not like it. She thought the main character was a little bit indecisive. I still think it's worth a read. I remember really liking the first one and then thinking about it and be like, nah, I don't like it. Same with the second, and then again the third. I think the second one was weirdly enough my favorite. Newt's Emerald. What do I remember about this story? Absolutely nothing. So I think it's related to Hester, but I remember nothing. I remember so little, I'm not even sure if I actually read this book. Oops. So Newt's Emerald, and now that I have the summary in front of me, I remember it really well, and it was not what I thought it was about. A lady nicknamed Newt inherits her family's treasure, an emerald. It also gives the wearer magical powers, but it disappears, and she has to go on a quest to find it. If I had to rate the Garth Nix novels I read in 2021, Left-Handed Sellers of London would be at top, followed by Frogkisser, followed by Newt's Emerald, and then followed by Angel Mage. All four of those are like leagues above some of the other books I read, so take that with a grain of salt. If you liked one of them more than the other, good for you. We all have different tastes in literature. Okay, Across the Green Grass Fields, which is one of the Wayward Children series, book 6, I think. I liked it. I didn't like that it was a standalone novel. I wanted to see more what the other ridiculous children folk were up to. But on its own, it's always nice to read a book by Sinan Maguire. I really like her. I adore her books. It's very good. My final review? Yes. Okay, following that was the Inheritance Games, which I know a lot of people read this year and a lot of people liked it. I think for the most part it was enjoyable. I think I liked it less than other people. The premise was really good. Just a random girl inheriting millions from some dude she's never met. I feel like I might have watched a J-drama like this at one point. Or read a manga. I probably will read the second Inheritance Game. No, I'll probably just listen to the audiobook from the library or something. And I really liked Truly Devious, which I remember, and I'm going to prove to you now with my remembering ability. Truly Devious was about a girl. Apparently, I never remember main characters' names unless I really, really, really love this story. But I remember her romance partner was named David.
Ew, David!
And David was problematic because he had no drive, and I don't like that in a romance partner.
You're a dick, David.
This girl goes to a school, and it's like a school for gifted people. And she wanted to solve the case of Truly Devious, which is about the owner of the school's kid up and going missing. But it happened way long time ago, like in the 1920s. That's 100 years ago. That's a long time ago. I think it was the 1920s. Anyway, she goes missing. The daughter of the school's founder goes missing, and the girl, I think her name was like Mila or something. We're gonna call her Jennifer. The main character in Truly Devious' name was Stevie Bell, not Jennifer, because I am watching The Witcher and all I can think is how Yennefer is like a dumb name because it sounds too much like Jennifer, and I figure that someone out there probably is named Yennefer. So Yennefer, I'm sorry. If it's any like consolation, I always like to name my character something really dumb, so I am maybe partial to dumb names. So Jennifer applies to the school thinking, I'm going to solve this mystery. I'm going to become a forensic detective. And she makes friends with the other people there. One kid wrote a fantasy novel, and the other girl's like super into I know they're not called Ruth Goldberg machines, but like that's what I'm coming to. Ruth Goldberg machines. That's what she liked. Rube Goldberg machines. So they're doing this school thing. She's looking into these mysteries, and then this other mystery pops up where this YouTuber just up and dies. So now she has not one, but two mysteries. The book ends on a cliffhanger. Still don't like David. The Widow of Pale Harbor by Hester Fox. There's a lady in this town, her husband was dead, and her maid is like a little too into her, but like borderline creepy about it. And she meets this reverend. The people of the town are like, dude, don't hang out with the reverend. She is a witch, probably. We suspect. Some dude falls over drunk, dead. Like he trips and he dies because he's drunk and can't watch where he's going. That sounds a lot harsher than I'm intending. That is just my voice of remembrance. And they're like, hey, this dude's dead. Clearly the witch killed him. And the reverend is like, you guys, like, you can like see the stump or whatever he tripped on and killed himself with. Like, he died because he tripped and sustained head injury. And they're all like, nope, it was witches. Only plausible explanation. Witches are always just killing people for no reason. Like, it was fun, but it was like dumb, and sometimes that's what you need, a dumb book, and I liked it. I'm going to read more by this author in the upcoming year, so I'm excited. I was pretty accurate about Pale Harbor. So, I have The Wandering Inn third book listed again. If I check The Wandering Inn first one, it's like part 1. So is this part 2, or did I just accidentally list it twice? I remember nothing. I don't know. So, Truly Devious, Volume 2, The Vanishing Stairs, in which I assure you, some stairs go vanishing. Probably don't remember the stair vanishing part. But I remember, it picks kind of up where the last book went, where David, his dad, turned out to be like a politician that Jennifer hates. Not named Jennifer. But her parents really like, and he's a fascist. So David's dad's a fascist. They have to deal with that, and more murder. Another murder happened, so now she has 1, 2, 3 murders. Oh, that's a joke I'm keeping in just for me. The Hands on the Wall, which is the last in the Devious Murders, where Jennifer solves the case. Again, her name is Stevie Bell. And the other case. And the third case. Did more people die? I don't remember. At one point, she drank pine soda. Like root beer soda, but made out of pines. She did not like it. Would I like it? I would probably try it and also not like it. That's what we're getting out of this. I don't want to give away the entire plot because I did like this series, and that's saying something because I mostly just read fantasy. I'm lumping the trilogy all together at this point just to save myself some time. I pretty much remembered a lot of it. Not all of it, but enough to give a somewhat accurate summary of it. Oh, Rainbow Rowell's Wayward Son. Okay, Rainbow Wayward Son, the actual second novel of the series, and I stand by that I liked it more than most will do. The Excess Serpent. All I remember about this book is there was a serpent and some graves and bones and a lady who wore pants, I think, and some lady who's the first pants lady's friend who's striving for better rights for Victorian workers, which is like, that's good and all and whatever, but I have this distinct memory of listening to it as an audiobook whilst gardening, waiting desperately for it to be over. You know, for Excess Serpent, the actual summary on Goodreads does not jog my memory. Where did I leave off? Empire of Sand. This is like a shonen anime. Like, there's so many characters and they have cool powers, but they're genies and stuff, and they like overthrow the evil government. Inspirational. So I got Empire of Sand confused with Traitor to the Throne. Empire of Sand, about a daughter who was forced to marry a man who also does not want to marry her. They're just a marriage of convenience. For the Emperor, who is the bad guy. A Tale of Two Worlds. Another book. This book I actually sat down and read. I should start like a stack. Okay. A Tale of Two Worlds. This was like a cute book where the letter D goes missing and the main character seems to be the only one realizing it and goes on a quest to retrieve the letter D. Very cute. I do recommend it. I was accurate. This is a fun one. Very silly. Followed by the book Traitor to the Throne. I feel like I've never seen this book in my entire life. That's not true. You liked it. Gideon the Ninth. Space lesbian necromancers. Yeah, you're on the right track. And then following by that one, I read Harrow the Ninth, which was the second book in the Gideon the Ninth series, and it was metal. I mean, that's accurate. Ginny D also did a cosplay for it, and most of these books I have listened to audiobook just because I don't have a lot of time. I do now. The two Gideon the Ninth series books I would buy hardcover just as a decoration. I like them so much. Another Wandering the Inn book. Yes. Things happened in that book. I remember it clearly. Yes. Things happened. I'm telling you. Believe me. I know them. Again, another Wandering Inn book. I am going to review all of them. All of them. Ninth House by Leah Bardugo. This is about secret societies and a lady who is in them. And she does magic and stuff. It was pretty cool. Yeah, accurate. City of Ghosts. It's about a city of ghosts and a girl who's best friends with a ghost. And they solve no mysteries together. They meet another person who can see ghosts. There's a cat in it. Her parents are paranormal investigators. One's a skeptic, one's not. And they go to the city for their job. Trouble ensues. The Last Graduate. And a second in a series. I liked it. Why didn't I say a lot about this? I love this novel. I love the first one. I can't get into the second one too much without spoilers, but it holds up, which sometimes sequels don't, so I'm glad it did. The Twisted Ones, which I know a lot about, I am making a whole video on it. This was my second time reading it. There's a dog in it. The Guild. TikTok recommended me this book, and TikTok does not always give the best suggestions. I have tiny scissors. I remember reading this book being like, this author either really likes women or really hates them. There's a lot of like internalized misogyny. It would make a great book to review. There's a lot. This woman is made of gold. Lives in a gold place. Everything is gold. Terrible. I'm not saying liking gold thing. I'm like wearing gold earrings right now. You can see my like little key necklace is gold. But if everything is gold, it's a little one note on color scheme. I say that and half the things I own are blue, like the blue canopy bed that I made myself, blue comforter, blue hair. It's like a retelling of Midas. Tales from the Hinterlands, which is just a fairy tale book like Dark and Twisted Fairy Tales. Now you're one of us. Talk recommended me this book. Look at my cat. She's doing stuff. Takes place in Japan, and it is a cult horror novel. It's very short. I don't know if there was a cultural difference between what I'm used to, but there was things that the main character did that I was like, the minute something like that happened to me, I'd be out of there. Gone. She marries into a cult, and the minute, found out my husband's drugging me, gone. Divorced. Not happening. So that frustrated me a bit. I found it very frustrating. The Raven Tower. It is about a old god whispering, making things happen. The god is a rock. There's a mosquito god, which really... yuck. Sorry. Things happened. There's a Raven Tower. I own it, but I listened to it on an audiobook, which is a problem I have, so I probably should not buy any books till I read through my giant stack of them to prevent me both listening to them via audiobook. Usually I get them from the library, sometimes from Audible, but buying the same book twice. Cinderella's Not Dead. This one was a really good one. Another lesbian romance story, but with the frame that Cinderella is dead, and now you have to put on a dress and be chosen for marriage by a man, which, like I said, a lesbian romance novel, obviously a horrible idea for the main character, who is not attracted, as far as I know, to men. Another lesbian romance. There you go. The Deathless Divide, which is a second in a post-Civil War zombie story. Ooh, that's complicated. I really liked both the main characters in this one. I think they're both a lot of fun. There is a dog in it. This is the most white woman thing ever, to memorize a story about whether or not there was an animal in it. Justina Ireland. I really like her books. I mean, I like this series, but I probably would read more by her. Followed by Cloud Cuckooland. This was shoved so hard down everyone's throat via Barnes and Nobles. They have entire displays for it, and I understand why some people might like it. That's my review. So, Cloud Cuckooland is simultaneously many different storylines that sort of overlap, which I guess that's why I don't like it, because normally that type of story annoys me. That type of story where overlapping storylines in different time periods just kind of touch each other annoys the absolute bazinga out of me, I guess. The last book was The Bone Shard Daughter, and it's about a daughter and bone shards that they collect from people that make them sick. There's a lot of dystopian government novels, yeah. Do you give a better summary of Bone Shard Daughter? The Emperor's reign lasted for decades. His mastery of the bone shard magic, powering animal-like constructs that maintain law and order, but now his rule is falling and revolution is sweeping across the Empire's many lands. I did like this story. I will probably read the sequel. So that's it for books I read in 2021. I will be linking my Goodreads list down below, so you can take a look at any of these books that may have caught your eye. I read them. Maybe you might read them all too. I feel like this outfit says artsy aunt, so we're gonna go with that. Be nice to your sibling. Please remember to eat your green. Don't trust men named David. If your name is David, no, it's not. Change it. Remember to drink water, as I always say. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you join me back next week for another video. If you read any of the same books as me, feel free to tell me what you thought of them. If you have any recommendations for books I should read, that's right, recommend me books and I will read them. Maybe. If I don't forget. Okay, bye-bye.